Today, we're going to be talking about one of the big boys, one of the big honchos, one of the largest game series out there, Pokemon. Okay, so imagine this. You are 7-year-old Nato, and your mother absolutely hates video games, like to her core. Believe that they'll rot your brain and stuff. But then, your grandma who's been buying you Pokemon cards for the past few years looks down at you and says, "Here you go, my good old grandson. Have a DS with Mario 3-on-3. I played that game to death and loved every single second of it. But then I heard the rumors on the playground. You are telling me that Pokemon? That sick card game that not a single one of us knows how to play properly has a video game? For the console I have?" I begged my dad for it and finally received my first copy of a Pokemon game, Pokemon Diamond. I played that game to death. I sunk literally hundreds of hours into the game and I loved it so much. But then bigger and better things came around. We like to call them Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver. So get this. I made my father, bless his heart, buy me a Japanese copy of Heart Gold off Amazon and played through the entire game while watching a walkthrough on YouTube because I did not speak a single word of Japanese when I was 9 years old. This was all such a magical time for me, and I've been a fan of the series ever since. So what am I getting at here? Boy, has Pokemon's difficulty taken a deep dive in the recent years, let me tell you. I'm not here to talk about how Pokemon Sword and Shield did not have a national dex. No. We're going to take a little look here at Pokemon and one of the biggest problems it's been having recently. Managing to balance difficulty with accessibility within the recent years. So grab yourself a nice little bowl of your favorite snack and buckle in your seatbelt. This is going to be a little fun one. Recently, Pokemon has been under fire because of the lack of difficulty present within the games. They have indeed become way more handholdy, there's no way to deny that. They point the player in almost every direction that they need to go in, and they tell them almost exactly what they need to do. But for me, what bugged me the most was the lack of challenge just presented to the player. So one of the biggest complaints have been the changes with the XP share, which I think can be okay if there's a proper level scaling to compensate for this. And even in X and Y, when they tried to do this, the gym leaders' Pokemon were just horrible. Why do gyms 3 all the way to 8 only have 3 Pokemon? And 7 of these 18 don't even have a complete movesets, one of the 7 being in the final gym. These gym leaders are supposed to be the best of the best when challenging the player. They're supposed to be a mark of the player's journey and progress that they make throughout. They just kind of seem like a little speed bump nowadays. It doesn't matter if the final gym leader in X and Y's Ace is level 59 if they only have 3 Pokemon. I can have 6. 6! That's double the amount! It doesn't even matter if they're all 5 levels below, I have more. That's just how it works. Don't even get me started about the Elite Four. They are the final test in your Pokemon journey. And in X and Y, they only have 4 Pokemon each. What? This may just seem a long rant about my problem with Gen 6, which it pretty much was, but it doesn't really get better from here. I could go on about how the most recent games, the gym challenges, or trial captains are also kind of a joke of a boss that really need to mark your progress as a trainer. And I guess this leads me into the point of the entire video. Accessibility with difficulty. Pokemon is a game that needs to be accessible for people of all ages. The game was literally created for kids after all. But I don't think that needs to lead to less difficulty from the battles you face as a player. I'm personally fine with more handholdy kind of games that lead the player along with the story and the path of the game intended by the developers. I'm sorry, but Pokemon has never been a very great story-driven game. Sword and Shield story held up just as well as many of the other games that I played prior. I'm cool with all of this, as long as the battles allow the player to be creative and solve it in their own way. And their way could be however the player wants to play. Self-imposed challenges are huge within the Pokemon community, from Nuzlocke to Monotype runs, to these challenges that these YouTubers are doing where they take one of the weakest Pokemon in the game and complete it. They're all legitimate ways of playing the game. This also could mean power leveling till you can just totally wipe the floor with a gym leader, and that is also a totally legitimate way of playing the game. But when every gym leader has 3 of their own Pokemon, and I have 6, and they're at least 2 to 3 levels ahead of their ace, And I haven't even been power leveling. The creativity within the battles just vanishes. When I was that little 7-year-old playing Pokemon Diamond, Crasher Wake beat me like 20 different times. But the time that I finally figured out how to beat him, it was one of the most rewarding feelings for me at the time. I don't think that children now won't experience the same feeling that I had 12 years ago when I finally got that badge. Accessibility does not mean there has to be a lack of difficulty. I understand that Game Freak wants to reach out and expand to a wider audience, but at the same time, Pokemon at its core is not that difficult of an RPG to grasp. If you really want to, you can sit in the grass and grind your Pokemon until they're level 100, but I suppose that's the nature of most RPGs as well. I played Pokemon Diamond all the way through when I was a 7-year-old, and I was able to do it, and I don't think that kids now are any dumber than I was. Making a game more accessible for new players is important to bring in new players to enjoy an experience that everyone else in the fanbase has. And that's why they need to keep these catching tutorials in every new Pokemon game, and that's fine. But dumbing down the trainers that you have to fight, and even the final challenges of the game is simply not the way to do it. Sword and Shield took a step in the right direction when giving the players in the Champions Cup at least 5 Pokemon each, so that's a good look. I love this series so much, and I want to see it succeed, and be what it once was. Maybe I have my nostalgia goggles on too tight, but Pokemon is simply not what it used to be. Game Freak is sacrificing difficulty for accessibility, and I understand that Pokemon is a game made for kids. I get it. But also a huge part of its core fanbase is much older, and they just want a harder challenge to face. Instead of just adding more difficult versions where they just scale the levels up a little, maybe add different teams for gym leaders with better type coverage. Giving the gym leaders better options for what you as a player will throw at them can make beating them feel 10 times more rewarding. This is just one of the many solutions that I can think of, and of course, I don't design or balance games, so I could just be way in over my head. But one of the most fun and engaging times I ever played Pokemon was when I was playing a ROM hack called Renegade Platinum. The ROM hack was created by a hacker named Drayano, and he does such a good job at allowing the player to formulate their own strategy against gyms instead of just throwing the best type at it. You have to think and plan out your team. It has to be well-rounded, and you have to create your own strategies instead of just trying to brute force your way through. It's a wonderful ROM hack that I think remedies a lot of the problems that I'm talking about in this video, so you should 100% go check it out if you're looking for a little bit more challenge. This might have just been me rambling on for a while about Pokemon and how the recent changes of difficulty have upset me, but I just wanted to put my thoughts out there. If you have any interesting additions to the discussion, or more ways you think Game Freak could improve the difficulty, let me know in the comments. Pokemon was this game that really brought me into the love of video games that I have today. I love Pokemon and want to feel that same kind of accomplishment that I did so many years ago when playing it. But of course, the difficulty of game is largely subjective, and I could just be having a dumb nostalgia moment and, video games were better in my day. Who knows? I hope that you all enjoyed the video, and if you want to see more content like this, let me know, and hit the teensy-wincy little subscribe button in the bottom right corner. I hope you're all staying safe, and have an awesome day.